Welcome back. Now we will see for each. Okay, as usual, let's create for each loop.js file, and similar to for each can be used with array only. Great. So the difference between for each and regular for, we use for each only with array. So const nums, okay, 1 2 3 4 5, we have 5 numbers. This is how we print with a normal or regular for loop. For let I is equal to 0, I listen nums dot length and I plus plus, right? And then console.log nums and then the index. Then we can iterate through the nums array. So let's connect this for each loop with the index. For each loop, yes. Now let's try to run. First I can remove everything. So 1 2 3 4 5. So great. Yeah, we have seen this also with, I think I'm in the wrong file, so I have to yes. Now let's do the same thing with for each. The structure or the skeleton of for each array dot an array dot do please for each, and then followed by actually a callback function. What is this callback function? Actually, it's just a function somewhere. You can write it like this: function callback. Now undo please. Callback, and this callback usually takes the index, the item, and the array itself. Yeah, the array itself. So this is the structure of for each. So let us see. Now if I want to just console.log item, and then now instead of just array, I can change this array to this nums. So if I say just nums, and let's try to, as you can see, I managed to print out the values from 0 to 4. But why from 0 to 4? I didn't get it. Item 1 2 for each loop. Okay. Let's try something. Test item. Up to 16, it doesn't include the last for each. Nums. Console.log. This is the for each part. Hmm. 0. Oh yeah, I was wrong. So is the index, let's try index maybe. Index. Yeah, the item. So okay, so now we saw the for loop, and let's see now for each. So the skeleton of the for each actually is dot array and followed by for each and a callback function. So what is this callback function? It's another function. We can write it like this: function and callback, and we can pass different parameters: item, index, and array itself actually, and then console.log item and index. Let's see. Now instead of arr as in array, let's just put the nums, because our array is here nums. As you can see now, from this item I am getting 1 2 3 4 5, and the second is index. Even if we interested the array, we can just print the array itself, but most of the time it's not important. So as you can see, I am also accessing the array itself. So whenever we are interested in the item, the index, and the array itself, for each is somehow handy. So yeah, you may also need to use for each instead of for off. But if we instead of for instance, if we are interested only in the items, for off is much better than for each. So I think that's the difference. And now let's make this code a bit cleaner. So how can we make this clean? Because this is a function, a callback function, which we are not going to use it, so we can put it inside. So actually we can just write this inside the for each, and it should give us the same result, right? Let's clean this and check. Yeah, it's giving me the same result. Now we don't need a name, even we can just write it like this, as you can see, and we are getting the same result. Then actually anonymous, since it's anonymous function, and we can also make it an row function, and it will be something like this, and still the result is the same. And most of the time you don't need the array, and it will be something like this. And index, most of the time we write it as I, and it's just very common. And this is the last result. Let's just remove this. Okay, finally, even if you are interested, if you have only just one line of code, you can return it explicitly, and it will be something like this actually. And I think I need one extra line. So if you want to see how it looks like, let me just make it a bit bigger. Yes, this is, so it's just one liner. That's very good. So let's try our code if it's still working, right? So it works. So to recap, for each you use for each only with arrays, and if you are interested in the index, the item, the array itself, then you use for each. But if you want to just work on the items of the array, I think for of is more handy. In the next tutorial we will see for in. Okay.